All right. Welcome to Untitled Common Sense, episode 4. My name is Derek. If you are watching this, thank you. We're a new YouTube channel, so every view helps. And if you find this later, far into the future, welcome. This is the early days when I had no production values and it was just me in my basement, you know, looking tired and ranting. So, what are we doing for episode 4? Episode 4, I want to talk about sovereignty and how there's this trend in our administration to threaten our allies and their sovereignty. This right here throws me for a loop. Every time I hear the rhetoric of like, we're going to take the Panama Canal, we're going to take Greenland, Canada should be the 51st state, it just blows my mind. Because why would you say that about, these countries who are our allies, by the way? But also, what really gets me is the mentality. The quickness that people jumped on board, like, yeah, we should take Canada. Yeah, we should take Greenland. And also, where did this come from? Like, I swear to God, this was nothing like 5 months ago. And then all of a sudden people were like, yo, we should just be taking countries. And it blows my mind that this is something like we've never heard about it. I've listened to enough politics to know that in the last couple of months, nobody's talking about Greenland. Nobody's talking about Canada. Nobody was thinking about the Panama Canal. Like nobody had a problem with these things being autonomous. And now that's all Trump can talk about. Like, I want Greenland. I think Canada should be the 51st state. We're going to take the Panama Canal. And I'm like, dude, what changed? Now, the only thing I can see is the administration change and they want to act like thugs and bullies. But I'm like, yo, what across this landscape changed so much that we now have to look at these sovereign countries and say, we want that. That's what we're about. And under the guise of America first. So let's unpack this. Let's look at this commonsensically. We are basically threatening our allies, and this is not even coming from randos. It's coming from the president himself telling them, you should be part of the United States. We want to take your country and now put it under control of the United States. And then what's funny, and that's like, it's being parroted by everybody. JD Vance is like, the president thinks we should have this, we should have this. You got all the right wing pundits being like, yeah, it'd be cool if we have Canada because we're just so blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, are you serious? Why do we need these countries? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it from the standpoint of like America. You can make the case that maybe having Greenland will provide some type of measure of security. But you can also make the case that can't we just ask Greenland to work with us to provide that security? Last I heard, Denmark has an army. They got special forces people. Why can't we just say, hey, Denmark, how about you increase the amount of military or allow us to bring in more military to support your military? Because we have concerns of XYZ. I guess because shipping of China and Russia, which is crazy, by the way. Think about that. We talk about how China and Russia are our enemies, but yet we got all that manufacturing going on in China for U.S. products. They make the iPhone. They make it very well. They are the manufacturing center of the world. If you think otherwise, you are a clown. Russia, okay. But now you got this administration saying Russia's the good guy. So it's just like, if they're that, why do we need this? Is Russia an enemy? That's why we're taking Greenland? Or aren't they? Then why are we taking Greenland? You see what I'm saying? We're worried about China shipping, yet they're shipping those MAGA hats you're wearing. So what is the problem? And that's what I'm trying to wrap my head around. What about Greenland is necessary for the United States? As far as I'm hearing from the administration, we have everything we need right here. They're telling us that close all our borders, bring manufacturing back because United States has everything they need to subsist and exist. So why do we need Greenland? It does not make any logical sense. They're not even a threatening country. There's like 41,000 people. They live in ice and snow. It's almost kind of like when you go to Alaska in the more rural parts. It's just people out there fishing, living in the snow, not even dealing with all this foolishness. So why are we like stepping on their land and being like, yo, we want this, and then get mad when they don't show us any type of like politeness or cordiality? Like, what did JD Vance think? Like, you're coming to say like we're taking Greenland. They clearly don't want it, and then they don't open their homes to you, and then you're gonna throw a pissy fit? Like, come on, dude. It smacks in the face of just like common sense. You wouldn't let somebody walk into your home and be like, yo, I'm about to take this shit over, man. Say that all over dinner and stuff and leave and be like, yo, I really like your house. I'm going to take that shit. And you're going to be okay with that? Like, get out of here. And when Americans are like, this is a good idea. It's just like, dude, if somebody stepped on American soil and was like, we're taking this over, you would throw a pissy fit. So I don't get why everybody all of a sudden now doesn't understand why all these countries are like, yo, what the fuck, and being upset. Canada is a great point. Been our neighbor since we've been a country, been our ally basically since we've been a country. Like, we literally share the northern border, their southern border. And now they're like, we want to make it the 51st state. Where's this coming from? When in American history have we ever been like, yo, we need that 51st and it's going to be Canada? If anything, the 51st most natural way to go would be Puerto Rico, the fucking Commonwealth. That is basically kind of a state, but without all those rights and stuff. So like, where does this idea that we need Canada come from? When have we said like, man, Canada's got so much that America needs it? You know, like, I've been to Canada. It's cool. But I don't need to have Canada be part of the United States, nor do they want to be part of the United States. Have you heard any Canada's lamenting like, man, if we were American, we'd just be on top. We'd be winning. No. And even more to the point, Canada has a different way of life than us. They have healthcare for free. Their whole entire, just like, I got to turn off these thumbs up, man. They got healthcare for free. They have a very different like ethno background, with French being a bigger, a bigger part of it. You got things like Montreal and Quebec where they speak French. So culturally they have a much more Eurocentric influence. So that doesn't necessarily mesh with the American, cowboy mentality. Like, it just is so asinine that everybody's behind making Canada. And they only said it because Trump did. And they thought, that's funny. And it's just like, dude, that is our allies. They are a country in of them themselves. And now you want to take them over? And you're saying that unless we take them over, they would be much better with us? And it's like, dude, they've been a whole country for centuries. What are you talking about? I just don't get it. Like, somebody has to sit down and tell me why this is a good thing. Like, I've heard nobody say like, oh, Canada's sleeping on the watch up at the north. We have a security risk. Nobody's saying that because they protect theirs. As a matter of fact, there is Canada between us and Alaska, and and that's been cool. Like, I just don't. It makes more sense for Alaska to be with Canada. If you're asking me, Canada should just be like, yo, let's take Alaska. It's right there. It's connected to us. It's more similar to us than it is to regular America. Like, it's just asinine that we're just stepping into people's countries and we're being like, yo, I want that. Like, so we look like thugs and just like bandits. Just see something we want and we take it. And the fact that Americans are cool with that, the fact that our administration is cool with that, like, that's how they show strength. It's just by taking shit. Like, what? Canada has been our ally and our partner for so long. We have such a good we did have a good relationship with them. And you throw that away and just say, just be part of us. And you think if they were to become our 51st state, they wouldn't be feeling some type of way? And we have proof of this. Look at the Civil War. You think the South was feeling pretty cool after the Civil War during Reconstruction? You don't think there was sour grapes towards the North because they lost? They got their shit taken and they were reincorporated back into the Union. You see it today with all the Confederate flags and people up in arms like, you're taking our culture of, and they were traitors. They defected. and got beat in war, and they're still mad about that. And they still want to celebrate their leaders who are open insurrectionists. And you don't think Canada won't feel some type of way if America takes that. You don't think that will be a troublesome province to be in when they see Americans coming through and fucking up their shit. You don't think that. Like, nobody's thinking about this. They're just saying shit and trying to be shocky and edgy and everything like that. But they don't understand the conception. Like, you have people invade your place. You don't like that shit. I mean, this is how all these Americans are feeling when they see all these immigrants. Like, oh, all these immigrants are coming and they're taking our stuff. And, oh, I don't feel safe. And, oh, Lincoln Riley. Like, yo, we have so much smoke for immigrants. But, like, we're the ones doing all the dirt. We're over here bullying allies. Allies. No one's pulling that shit with any of our perceived enemies. You don't see Trump saying like, yo, we're about to take Russia for ourselves. We're about to take China for ourselves. He's not going to say that shit because they'd be like, the fuck you are? Like, miss me. He's doing that to people he perceives as weak who are friends. That's the sign that you know this is not cool. You don't just bully your friends because that shows a weakness of your character. That means like when it really comes down, when you really got to squad up, you're going to back down. And you see he's done it with the tariffs. We're going to have a tariff. We're going to have, I had a good conversation and you know, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's just so high school, so like jocks versus nerds type shit that you've seen in like 80s, like comedies. Like, it's just tiring. And it's just like, dude, can we just live? Why does everything have to be antagonistic? Like, why do you see us against the world? Like, America's becoming this paranoid country where we see nothing but perceived slights. And you know, the only people who see that are weak people. I mean, I've worked in places where people are paranoid and they're always like, they're just not good to be around. They're always upset by something. They're always on edge. They micromanage because, I got to do this and I have to do that. And you can't say this. And who just said what about me? And you're just like, dude, you're going at this way too seriously. You need to chill out. Ain't nobody looking at you like that. People just trying to get through the workday so they can go home. Nobody's playing this paranoid 4D chess like you are. And I think that's exactly what this administration is. Everything is a threat and it's not. Okay? All they're concerned about is we got to make sure that our economy's straight and you work and work. And work. Meanwhile, the president-in-chief spends every weekend playing golf. And I'm not saying that you can't play golf, but I mean like every goddamn weekend play golf and then have feasts at Mar-a-Lago. Like, dude, you got the White House. Like, why do you keep going to your shit and then have us pay for it and pay for the rooms of all the attachés you bring with you just so you can play golf? And it's just like, you don't seem to be taking this as seriously. Like, you're threatening war and then you go off and you play golf? Like, dude. And this is why you got people like Hegseth texting plans because there's no oversight? Like, come on. Are you serious about this? And so we're supposed to take on, like, you're going to ruin our reputation internationally. Like, people aren't coming in the United States anymore for tourism. They're like, fuck that place. They're crazy. Soon, they're going to lock us down and be like, nah, we don't need those Americans here. And that's what's going to happen. And then we're going to be alone. Like, America, a country founded by immigrants, is going to cut itself off from the world. The very place that most Americans are from. Fuck what you heard. If you're here from America and you're not Native American, you're from somewhere else. And there's a lot of people here who have family elsewhere, who move elsewhere, who go elsewhere. And you're going to shut that shit down because you want to make this bullshit America first. They talk about globalization, but like nobody's saying that to the companies when they go across seas. In fact, they get tax breaks. That's what they get. They get tax breaks. And then you say, oh, bring, stuff here and you'll not be terrorists. They'd be like, why would we do that? We're a global company. Are you going to stifle business and make it only local? No. Global company. We can't just think about America because America is not just the world. And so like this notion that we need to be stepping on the toes of our allies and taking over their territory is just asinine. It's so antithetical to America first. Why are we engaging in open aggression on sovereign nations if we're about taking care of here? How does having Canada as the 51st state help us? How does it? We can trade with them. They're open to it. They're right there. They share a lot of our concerns. Why do we need to take them over? You can't even manage the shit that you got going on right here. Why do we have red states that are underfunded and people are living at the poverty line? Huh? Why did you get rid of FEMA when we have all these natural disasters? Why are you letting companies pollute in our environment? Why are you doing that? Why is our education system in shambles? Is taking over Canada gonna make us all smarter? No. If you want to take care of America, then start thinking about this, like what will help us. Being alone won't help us. Being an isolated, xenophobic nation will not help us, despite what these few people will think. People think that it's just America is this place that just happened independent of everywhere else. It is false. America would be nothing without people from Italy, from Germany, from Russia, from Mexico, from Spain, from Africa, from Asia. So thinking that this notion that America is just going to be this monolith in of itself is ridiculous. And then looking at other countries and saying we want that is not going to help. Because look, I think America's getting high on its own supply. You keep pulling that shit and you're going to do it to the wrong person and they're going to clap back. And then you're going to be like, well, what happened? And then you're not going to have allies. Like right now, China's stepping up to be the new America. As soon as America started pulling that funny business, they swooped right in like, yo, Ukraine, y'all need help. We can help you. The whole BRICS thing, they'll be like, look, man, China just wants to have a great economy. We'll manufacture all your shit. They're going to be the new soft and large power in the world. People are going to be like, the Chinese come and help us. And the Chinese are just like, yo, we just want a piece of the pie. We're not trying to take over the world. We just want to make sure that our presence is heard. And America's just like, we're taking away all our cards. We're taking our ball and we're going back. Acting like little bitches. But then have the nerve to like step to other countries and demand that they become part of us. Ridiculousness. No one was talking about this at all a couple months ago. And now this is on everybody's mind that we need to take over new countries. This is ridiculous. And no one is giving a real reason as to why we need to this. I've heard of no security risk. I've heard of no environmental necessity. Like I've heard of none of that. So it just leads me to believe, why are we doing this? Why are we engaging in this rhetoric? And why are you guys co-signing this? It's ridiculous. Because y'all know y'all would be so upset if somebody came into our spot and started talking like, yo, we're going to take this over. You'd be like, oh, you can't take over America. Generations were born here. We find the eagle. I'm over pride from my cold, dead hands. Like, you guys trip every time you perceive your freedoms being trampled on. And then you do it to others. You're like, that shit's okay. Ridiculous. Just utter buffoonery. Just don't get it. So anyway, that's episode 4. This one got a lot more heated, but I just don't like that bullying shit. I just don't like that imperialistic, like people, it seems like they trying to spark World War III. I'm going to be honest. It just seems like these people just want to fight. And it's just like, dude, why? That's not what we're signing up for. So I don't know. But yeah. That concludes this episode. I hope I didn't get too overcharged, but I mean, like, Jesus Christ, man, these people are killing me. They are. I listen to the news every day, and I just read one thing after another, and I'm just like, where the fuck is this coming from? Why do we have this energy? Why are we so angry? Why is America so angry? You know, why? People tell me Biden's 4 years were the worst ever, but like the people who tell me that have been winning. They've been winning. Yeah, the government tells you to moderate your shit, but you've been winning. You've been making billions and billions of dollars. And now you're like, that shit wasn't good enough? Like, what? What? It makes no fucking sense. There are problems in America, but nobody wants to address those. And the people who tell us what our problems are, they've been winning. Their stock options look good. Their company's been making billions. So what the fuck is the problem? I don't know. Well, anyway, that's the end of this episode. Hope you enjoyed it. And if you feel like I do, comment. Like I said, the whole purpose of this is to build a community, a coalition. I am firmly of the idea that it's about us. We can't depend on anybody else. Americans need to help other Americans take back our country. And that is for real. I truly believe that. So comment, even if you disagree, it's engagement. So thanks.